can LeBron ever pass Jordan?
No.
Of course he can. To me, the question is will and when.
Okay.
And the answer is in about 4 months when this Cavs team wins another title.
Curry, 3, bang!
6 rings would be very helpful for LeBron. Preseason NBA Finals, I may mention, this is a good, not an all-time, but a good NBA Finals. Lakers in 6.
Wrong again.
Broussard, Brandon, and even my buddy Kevin Wildes laughed at me when I said a month ago was, the Lakers don't need Anthony Davis every series of the postseason.
Paul outside.
I think the Lakers will be in the finals. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Lakers win the title. What I don't want to have happen is, once again, LeBron stack deck. You've got Russ. You've got Anthony Davis. How much help does he need? Lakers winning the West, winning the title, and then that GOAT debate that we were having before, that's over then. This was a very, very bad matchup for the Nuggets. After watching Game 1, my caution is gone, and my optimism is boundless.
Finds James, takes a pass, falling away, baseline shot, side of the backboard.
Wow.
The Los
in
Angeles
six.
Lakers.
Not even 7.
In 6.
I guess they got to win at home.
exclamation points.
Murray's got 12 here in the 4th. Defender falls. LeBron 3.
Oh, beautiful.
When it comes to Nick Wright's media career, his persona, really since day one at Fox Sports, what he's been known as is the LeBron guy. As of course, back in the day, going on shows like Undisputed, Colin Cowherd, was always the pro-LeBron guy, the anti-Jordan guy, who's at LeBron James no matter what.
LeBron to pass Jordan, he needs a time machine to go back about 11 months when he passed him the first time. He can do everything Jordan could do, but better.
He's delusional.
Now, the one big-time problem with Nick Wright, being an objective viewer, if you play back what he says, break it down point by point, a lot of his arguments under scrutiny fall apart very quickly. And look, in regards to LeBron versus Jordan debate with Nick, he's not going to admit Jordan's the better player, the greater player. That's simply never happening, and it's not part of Nick Wright's brand. So what you have to do with Nick, you have to compare other player debates to his LeBron versus Jordan logic. And in today's video, we're going to do exactly that with Kevin Durant and Larry Bird.
When this clip goes out, there are going to be a bunch of children, and I say that intentionally, who are like, man, KD would wash Larry Bird. You're like, well, what could Larry Bird do that Kevin Durant can't do? When we are doing top 10 lists, it cannot be such a bias to the current times that accomplishments are totally irrelevant. He's a 3-time champion, 2-time finals MVP, made 5 finals. And he was 9-time first team All-NBA in the first 10 years of his career.
So stopping that clip right there, Nick Wright made it very, very clear. Kevin Durant in his mind is not a top 10 player. And compared to Larry Bird, it's not really discussion. Now that take, I actually agree with. But of course the problem is, the logic for Bird over KD seems to kind of falter, not be there, with LeBron versus Jordan. As of course comparing Durant and Bird's legacies, Larry Bird pretty easily, pretty objectively, was the greater overall player. As looking at their legacy gap, Larry Bird had 1 more championship, 2 more MVPs, they were even on finals MVPs, Bird had 3 more all-defensive teams, and they were dead even on defense player years at 0. So that gap right there, I mean, it's pretty sizable, pretty noticeable that Larry Bird's legacy is greater than one Kevin Durant. And of course, Nick Wright in that clip acknowledged that pretty openly.
It cannot be such a bias to the current times that accomplishments are totally irrelevant.
Ironic.
Now, with that Bird vs. KD gap in mind, look at the gap between LeBron James and Michael Jordan. This gap is significantly bigger, as of course Jordan, 2 more championships, 1 more MVP, 2 more finals MVPs, 4 more all-defensive teams, and 1 more DPOY. That MJ-LeBron legacy gap compared to the Bird-KD gap is significantly bigger. And looking at the Jordan gap alone, I mean, it's basically Kevin Durant's entire career, minus the all-defensive teams and the DPOY.
That's some funny.
Now, of course, when it comes to Nick Wright pro-LeBron fans debating him versus Jordan, what's kind of their go-to argument, their silver bullet, they pull out every single debate? That, of course, is longevity. And looking at LeBron's longevity compared to Jordan's, of course, it is superior. LeBron James, more points, rebounds, assists, I mean, the whole 9 yards. For a lot of LeBron fans like Nick Wright, longevity matters above everything else, which is kind of odd because Kevin Durant versus Larry Bird, that value of longevity simply is not there. As looking at Durant right now, recently, he crossed 30,000 points, and compared to Bird, that's more than 9,000 more, very similar to the gap between Jordan and LeBron. And of course, looking at longevity and extended prime, Kevin Durant right now is 36 years old. Bird 92 was only 35, and of course KD is near 17. When it's all said and done, Kevin Durant compared to Larry Bird won't have more championships, MVPs, all defensive teams, none of the big time awards that push people over the top. But what he will have is more points, rebounds, assists, blocks, etc., much like LeBron James versus Michael Jordan. Which begs the question, why is Nick Wright not being consistent and keeping that same energy with KD versus Bird he doesn't have for LeBron versus Jordan?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
I think the answer to that question is actually pretty simple. A lot of LeBron fans in LeBron's camp around 2016 post that championship, LeBron getting his third title, barely being 30. I mean, they saw 6 championships as a foregone conclusion. And of course, LeBron himself had the infamous quote, he's chasing the ghost that played in Chicago. And of course, what does that really mean? Does it mean passing Jordan on his stat categories? No, of course not. Kobe already did that. What it meant back then for LeBron James was catching Jordan with those 6 championships. Now here's the problem though. KD Golden State was a big time wrench in that plan and that narrative. And the further we advanced in the 2010s, eventually the 2020s, the pursuit of those 6 championships became even more impossible.
Nick? What would it take for LeBron to pass Jordan as the GOAT?
All right, so if we're talking about accomplishments, he needs at least a couple more rings, probably one more MVP. Can LeBron ever pass Jordan? Of course he can. To me, the question is will and when.
Okay.
And the answer is in about 4 months when this Cavs team wins another title.
That quick?
Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally made up.
We all know LeBron officially, unofficially, got credit for 2 rings when he came back from 3-1 down and beat a 73-win team, sent Draymond crying to his car to call Kevin Durant. So right now he's at 4. When they win the title this year, it counts as another 2, which means LeBron and Jordan will both have 6 rings.
It's fiction. It's fiction. We made it up. We made this one up. It's a made-up tale.
So with 6 championships out of the equation, out of the discussion, how do you keep LeBron James in that GOAT convo? Of course, pump up longevity and all-time total stats. Something only 2-3 years ago the same fans really couldn't care less about. And looking at Nick's own all-time ranking list, back in 2017, post the title in 2016, here's Nick's top 5 all time. Number 1, Michael Jordan, 2, LeBron James, 3, Magic, 4, Kareem, and 5, Bill Russell. Now look at that 4th place spot, Kareem. At that point, the all-time leading scorer, the best longevity in NBA history. And despite that, Kareem behind Magic, whose longevity was pretty suspect. Now, fast forward a couple years, 2023, Nick's list completely flips. As now Jordan, he's 3rd, Kareem's 2nd, and LeBron's 1. And ask yourself, why is that? Nick Wright, to justify LeBron's number 1 ranking, has to value longevity so much, and much more than he did back in 2017. Once again showing Nick's overall standards fluctuate year to year, debate to debate, and player to player. Now, once again looking at the KD versus Bird debate, one of Nick Wright's big critiques of Durant is in his post-age 30 seasons, he hasn't accomplished really anything.
For his 30s to have no pelts on the wall at all, while he is still a 30-a-game scorer, something close to it, it's so perplexing.
So that clip right there in a vacuum makes sense as a valid critique of KD and his legacy. But once again, the problem, Nick, if you're going to bash KD for those critiques which are valid, have those same critiques for LeBron James versus Jordan. As looking at Jordan's 30s compared to LeBron James, far more successful. As Jordan, 4 championships, 4 finals MVPs, 2 MVPs, and 4 all-defensive teams. LeBron James, 2 titles, still good, 2 finals MVPs, impressive, but 0 MVPs and 0 all-defensive teams. Like I said earlier, Nick Wright, he's not a dumb person, a stupid person, but what he is kind of a weasel. And like I showed numerous times in this video, he'll move the goalposts to LeBron James, be inconsistent, just change his entire line of thinking to suit LeBron James, the greatest player of all time. So that right there is the end of the video. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.